Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. The TFSA is one of the most lucrative tax saving tools in Canada. In my opinion, it's way underrated. After all, who likes to pay taxes on their earnings, right? What if I told you you could avoid paying any taxes on your investment gains? Sounds great, right? It sounds too good to be true, but it's real. So let's get into it and I'll explain the basics of TFSA and how it works. In this video, I am going to discuss basics of TFSA in 5 different parts. First, what is TFSA? Who can really open one? Second, what are the contribution limits for 2026 and how the contribution limit works? Third, potential investment strategies that can work in TFSA account. Fourth, common mistakes to avoid, including recontribution and losses to avoid affecting your contribution room. Fifth, important rules for non-resident and penalties to watch out for. So what really TFSA is? It stands for Tax-Free Savings Account. Many people get confused with its name. It's not your regular tax-free savings account. It's not just a savings account. You can do a lot more with it. So it's a Government of Canada's approved registered account where your investment gains are tax free and your withdrawals are tax free too. Isn't it great? Now, who can really open a TFSA account? Well, it doesn't have a lot of requirements. You just need to be 18 years and older. You just have to have a SIN number and you need to be a resident of Canada. For example, permanent resident or a citizen. Mind you, you cannot open a TFSA account if you are on a student visa or you are on a visitor visa. So now the question comes, why do I love TFSA so much? It is because it's flexible and tax efficient. First, you grow your money completely tax free, whether you make money through interest, dividend, or capital gains. The government doesn't take a dime. The only small exception is 15% withholding tax on dividend from foreign income, like US stocks. But for Canadian investment, you keep everything you earn. Isn't it great? Second, you can withdraw your money at any time totally tax free. Unlike RRSP, you aren't penalized for taking your money out when you need it. And here is the best part, your contribution room carries forward indefinitely. Here is a quick example why TFSA wins every single time. Let's say you invested $5,000 and make $500 profit. If you hold that in a regular taxable account and your tax bracket is 30%, here is what happens. If it's interest like GIC, the CRA treats that $500 just like your salary. At a 30% tax rate, you'll owe $150 in taxes. You only keep $350. If it's capital gain, like in stocks and ETFs, you only get taxed half of the profit. So you are taxed on $250. A 30% will owe you $75. You'll keep $425. But inside TFSA, you keep the full $500. Isn't it great? Every single penny, there is no tax on interest, no tax on capital gains, and no tax when you withdraw it. Over the time, saving that $75 or $150 every time you make a profit adds up to your thousands of dollars extra wealth. Now let's talk about contribution room. Can you put as much money as you want in a TFSA account? The answer is no. The Government of Canada sets an annual limit. It all started back in 2009 with a limit of $5,000. Since then, the government has increased that limit in increments of $500. There was one major exception in 2015 where the limit was temporarily bumped up to $10,000 under the conservative government. But since then, it has returned to inflation index growth. From 2024 to 2026, the official annual limit has been set to $7,000. If you were 18 or older in 2009 and have never contributed, your total cumulative room is now massive $102,000 in 2025, and that will jump to $109,000 in January 1st, 2026. Now let's look at the real world example how it works. Let's say you started in 2024 with 7,000 in room. You contributed $5,000, leaving you with room of $2,000. Then you decided to withdraw $4,000. Note that this does not give you room right back immediately. It adds back the following year, not the same year. So the rest of 2024, your remaining room stays at $2,000. Fast forward to January 1st, 2025. You get that 4,000 withdrawals back, plus the 7,000 annual limit. Your new total would be $13,000. My pro tip is to check your CRA account once a year after issuer reports. Your tax residency affects your TFSA room. Any year that you are not a tax resident of Canada, that does not count in your TFSA room. Once you know how much contribution room you have, the next question is, what do you actually buy? The answer depends entirely on your time horizon. Essentially, how soon you need the money. If you need the cash in next year or two, maybe for a house down payment or a wedding, stick to high interest savings account, GIC, or cost cash equivalent funds. You won't get huge growth, but your principal is safe. If you have a longer timeline but a lower risk tolerance, balanced ETFs are a great middle ground. They mix stocks and bonds to smooth out the ride. Now be careful here. Putting short-term money into broader ETFs or stock market is risky. If the market dips 10%, right when you need to withdraw your money, you are stuck taking a loss. Finally, if you are investing for 10, 20 or 30 years, you can afford to chase higher growth. This is where growth ETFs and individual stocks shine. You'll see volatility, but over the long run, this is where the real wealth is built. Now let's talk about common mistakes. The biggest mistake you can make is recontributing too early. If you withdraw money today, the amount only becomes new room on January 1st of the next year. Unless you already had a unused room, you cannot put it back in the same year. A pro strategy is the December to January move. If you need to move money between banks, withdraw in December and recontribute in January. If you mess this up and over contribute, the CRA will hit you with 1% monthly tax on the highest excess amount each month. It's a steep price for a simple timing error. Number 2. Your losses inside TFSA are not withdrawals. Only the amount you withdraw adds back to next year. Losses in TFSA account cannot be claimed as capital losses and will not be added back into the next year's contribution room. So be careful. Now let's get into non-resident tax rule. Please don't make any contribution when you are not a tax resident of Canada. CRA will apply 1% penalty on that contribution. If it also exceeds your room, CRA may apply 2 separate 1% monthly taxes. So be careful with that. Lastly, you can have as many as TFSA accounts you want. Just don't exceed your total available room. You can have multiple TFSA accounts. Just total contributions across all your accounts must stay within your available room. Thank you so much for watching. If I've added some value in your life today, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.